Welcome to Nittany Nation Overtime.
And welcome into Nittany Nation Overtime. I am Jack Washer. We have reached Week 9 on the Big Ten football calendar. Let's meet the panel for tonight's show, the Nitwits. We got Mark Brennan from FightOnState.com and Lions 24/7. Neil Rudell from the Altoona Mirror, and a man who has been synonymous with Penn State football broadcast for 35 years, Roger Corey. Kind enough to join us on the set tonight. Thank you, Roger. So, gentlemen, I don't want to bury the lead. Penn State actually has an opponent now for Week 9. It'd be the Illinois Fighting Illini. Neil, I want to give you kind of first crack, just your initial thoughts on, just how this all came about. And we didn't know until about 2 o'clock this afternoon.
I'm sure there were a lot of moving parts between TV arrangements and trying to avoid rematches and satisfying, I guess, some of the rivalry games that hadn't been able to take place, Purdue, Indiana, Wisconsin, Minnesota. So that's kind of how Penn State, I think, wound up with Illinois. They hadn't played them. They're trying to do some East-West. So it took a while, but they got it out today.
It's not a loveless Illinois team. It's a lovey-less Illinois team. Just fired Lovey Smith. Hey, listen, whatever you think of the opponent, and as Neil said, they wanted to get some of the traditional rivalries back, obviously. I think the fact that this team is getting another game, that they're actually pulling these things through, the way the season has gone for Penn State, to have this momentum going, I think this is good to get another week of practice and to get another game, and especially another home game. It's going to be good for them.
Roger, as someone who's in the radio booth, I think the first half of the season and the second half of the season, I think people are excited about a 9th game because they're playing so well right now. From your vantage point, what have you kind of noticed how the moods kind of change, whether it's in the broadcast booth or what you're noticing out there as Penn State's kind of made its way back to 3-5?
Yeah, I see more joy on the sideline. There's more smiling. They're more active. There's more interaction with the players and the coaches, which I enjoy seeing. And they're just working better. They're working together better. There's more communication. The on switch was clicked at Michigan, I think. And for me, that's when the season turned around. Actually, the practice the week before the Michigan game, something happened. The switches came on. People were a little tired of the Zoom meetings. I think that was one of the first weeks they could all get together in Haluba Hall and have a real team meeting, and that's when the switch went on.
I think it's so interesting just to see how the first 5 weeks played out. We talked about it a lot on the show about how the Indiana game, I think, really changed a lot. But Mark, what have you kind of seen these last 3 weeks that, Roger kind of touched on it, but this team, I mean, yeah, you're not playing Ohio State, you're not playing Indiana, but they're beating up on teams they should beat, outside of the first half yesterday against Michigan State, but they turned around in the second half, and really that game is not close in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean, after the game on Saturday, Sean Clifford said, we've got our swagger back, which may be overstating a little bit given the quality of opponent that they were playing. But to his point, yeah, I mean, they're playing like they believe that they're going to win these games, and there's a lot to be said for that. I mean, obviously, they've cut down, way down on the turnovers. Generally speaking, the offensive line has played better, and generally speaking, outside of, one quarter Saturday, the defense has picked it up. So you put all those things together, you have some young players really coming along and getting in the groove, and I think that's all led to a 3-game winning streak.
Yeah, I mean, clearly their schedule was kind of front-loaded with the trip to Indiana that's turned out to be a good team, Ohio State, Iowa in the first half of the season here. The teams they're beating now, I think they really should be beating, but these teams were at least as good as the teams Maryland and Nebraska that Penn State was losing too early. So I agree, they've gotten back to basics. The big deal is the offensive line. Hey, they didn't allow any sacks yesterday. They've allowed 3 in 3 weeks. They allowed 20 in the first 5.
All right, still ahead on the show, the Michigan State game yesterday. We're going to dive into it, and it kind of perfectly summed up Penn State's season as a whole. So when we come back, we'll get more into the Michigan State game and also talk about bowl season. That's still ahead on the show.
You're watching Nittany Nation Overtime on WTAJ, your Nittany Nation station. Tonight's show is brought to you by Joel Comfort Toyota.
As you get back to normal, know that Edgar Snyder and Associates has your back. In the rush to get going again, tragedy can happen when you least expect it. And when it involves big rigs and tractor trailers, it's a mismatch. The devastation can destroy lives. When it comes to protecting your rights, you deserve the overwhelming advantage of Edgar Snyder and Associates and our vast team of crash experts. If you or someone you care about has been injured in a truck-related accident, call 1-800-94-EDGAR.
This Starkey Olivia has really helped me. It's the best hearing aid that I've had.
The Starkey Olivia is well advanced. Mine can translate languages if I would go on a trip.
I found with the new Starkey Livio hearing aids that I actually have this application with my phone where I actually interface right with my phone, and it works really well.
We service all brands, no matter where you bought your hearing aid. Call for an appointment or curbside assistance.
As you can see, through the years we've done a lot of changing and growing. In our business, LMR Tires in Lycans Market has grown to become a full-service garage with 5 locations. One thing that hasn't changed, LMR Tires still offers the best prices on a large selection of brand-name tires and quality, affordable automotive repair. No matter where you live in Central PA, LMR Tires should be your one-stop shop for new tires and auto repair. Hi, I'm Caleb Lykins. Come and visit any of our LMR Tire locations for a quote, or call or visit us online.
Your news every hour in primetime is on News Nation on WGN America. News Nation reported on how to avoid costly online holiday shopping scams.
This is going to be happening throughout the month.
And told you about the nationwide rise in carjackings.
My body was shaking. He had the gun pointed at my chest.
News Nation covers your nation every night starting at 8, 7 Central on WGN America. Go to newsnationnow.com to find WGN America on your cable or satellite provider.
You're watching Nittany Nation Overtime.
All right, welcome back to the show. Let's dive into yesterday's win over Michigan State. Penn State emerges victorious over the Spartans to get to 3-5. But before the game, you know, Mark, when we think senior day, it's a huge deal. I think Penn State does it right, but with the rising cases and whatnot, they had to get a little creative. You see everyone on Zoom and whatnot, but the parents were actually able to come in, but then they're like, yeah, once the game begins, you got to get out. So, I mean, you were there. What did you kind of think of everything that kind of went down pre-game before we actually started kicking things off?
All the credit in the world to the Penn State ops people for being able to pull that off. I mean, we were under the impression that parents weren't going to be able to be there at all. To be able to bring those parents in even for a limited amount of time, and then to do the classy stuff they did. They had videos on actually for people who couldn't see it in the stadium of the parents talking to their kids. So to be able to do that, I just can't imagine how much that meant. Now, I know it's obviously difficult for those players to kind of have what was their last, well, it really wasn't their last home game, but what was their senior day played with no fans. But in some way, could that end up being more memorable because it was special kind of in its own unique way? But all credit to Penn State ops people for pulling that off.
Yeah, I'm so confused by the whole situation. And you turn on the Army-Navy game, and there is a significant crowd there. Obviously in the South, nothing seems to matter. I don't know why you couldn't have given one family per section and spread them out.
107,000 seats stadium, yeah.
I agree, and Penn State's always put their best foot forward in that kind of, but then they really didn't come out as maybe, the kind of emotion that maybe you thought they would. And I don't know what's happened in the first half of a lot of games this year. They played so hard when they get down. And I think that's something that going forward as they evaluate the whole on-the-field performance this year that they need to address. They're allowing 20 points in the first half and about 9 in the second half.
Roger, what happened in the second half? Why was this game so much different than the games where they did fall behind earlier in the season, not able to pull those out? In the second half, they just dominated Michigan State. I believe they scored 3 points in the second half. What are you seeing on Game 8 that you didn't see maybe Game 2, Game 3, Game 4?
A lot of pride, an awful lot of pride. There were some verbal pyrotechnics in the locker room at halftime. I would imagine that would be a nice way to say it. But these guys have gone through the perfect storm of adversity for more than 5 weeks. I don't know everything they had to go through during practice, even preseason. Well, no, you're not going to have to. Well, we're going to play. Well, no, we're not going to play. What do you think if you're a kid like that? I don't know. Then you get into the whole rigmarole of practice, some semblance of organization as best as you can get, only to come up on the short end of the stick 5 weeks in a row, hurt your confidence, pyrotechnics at halftime with Michigan State, and then pride. You're doing it for pride. You're doing it for momentum. And there is still football left to be played at Penn State.
Yeah, and I think when you look across the college football landscape and see how many teams have just basically mailed it in when they start to struggle, how many kids have opted out, and then when you talk about this senior class, no opt-outs from the seniors, when some of these guys easily could have done that, but they stuck around and proved to be leaders. And I think, you know, they're going to have the opportunity if they want to come back, because this season doesn't count. But whether they do, or according to the NCAA, but whether they do or they didn't, I think the legacy that they left to not stop fighting, to fight until the very end, that carried through in that Michigan State game on its own in the second half and in the season in general.
You know, Roger, I want to ask, you know, for someone who's been doing this for 35 years in the Penn State booth, to not have fans in Beaver Stadium and to be doing a pregame show and sitting there with Jack and Steve, how bizarre has it been for 8 games? And now we'll have a 9th and hopefully maybe a 10th game for Penn State. But just when you think Penn State, you think Beaver Stadium, 107,000 people, but you have maybe 500 people in that stadium.
On a normal Saturday, which I miss, we actually do the pregame show outside of the stadium in front of the Jordan Center. And folks come up, they're tailgating, they'll bring a refreshing beverage possibly, or some snacks or something. And you have an opportunity, number one, to talk to guys that do the play-by-play and the color. Steve is outstanding in his job. Jack Ham is a Hall of Famer for more than one reason. And to introduce those people to Steve and Jack and bring them a little closer to the program that they love, boy, I miss my people. I just miss them.
I'm sure they miss you too, Roger, because you are the perfect host for a lot of those questions and your insight and your knowledge and your humor. I know when I'm traveling up to the game and I'm listening to the pregame show, I always enjoy what you bring to it.
You're kind. Thank you.
Yeah,
so
and you
much.
know what I'd like to throw out is that you talk about the interaction with Steve and Jack and fans. And I want to talk about, when you talk about legacies, a lot of that to me stems back to George and Fran.
Yeah.
And for younger people, you know, George Paterno, the color man, Fran Fisher, a long time play-by-play guy. Roger, you worked with those guys for years. And that's the way they were. They were very approachable. You know, everybody knew who they were. And now you're looking at, you know, Steve's great. I love Steve. But then you look at Jack Ham, who's a Hall of Famer, and you could go up and just say hello to a Hall of Famer. Well, Steve's a Hall of Famer too, I guess.
Sure.
But that is, the whole Penn State radio legacy has just been terrific, and it's been very fun to interact with all of you guys throughout all my years on the beat.
It's family, and it always has been. It's how it was presented to me. They said, you're not your own island here. You work within the family, and we'll take care of everything, and everything will take care of you. It's worked out exactly that way. And the folks that I've had a chance to meet and to introduce to the coach or to Steve or Jack, it's the best job ever.
All right, still ahead on the show. Regardless of what happens this week, will it be time for Penn State to call it quits for football in 2020? Also, what are the benefits of playing a bowl game in a pandemic? We'll discuss all that next.
You're watching Nittany Nation Overtime on WTAJ, your Nittany Nation station. Tonight's show is brought to you by Joel Comfort Toyota.
At Joel Comfort Toyota, we're more than just a full-service dealership. For over 40 years, we have provided the utmost customer service while serving our local community. Stop in today and let Ted Woodring help you find your next Toyota vehicle. Log in today at joelcomfort.com or visit our showroom at Joel Comfort Toyota of State College.
We live such fast-paced lives. We're always so busy. The holiday season can get really wild.
It's stressful, but exciting at the same time.
Martin's is so wonderful because it has everything you need.
Their produce is wonderful quality. I can just pop open the app and add something to the shopping cart.
It takes the chaos and makes it manageable.
To sit down and eat together, that's what it's all about.
Alerts. They remind and warn us. If you have type 2 diabetes and risks for heart disease, you could land in the hospital with heart failure. For people like you, Farxiga does more than lower A1C. Farxiga also helps prevent hospitalization for heart failure.
Do not take if allergic to Farxiga. Symptoms of a serious allergic reaction include rash, swelling, difficulty breathing, or swallowing. Stop taking and seek medical help right away. Tell your doctor right away if you have red color in urine, or pain while you urinate, or a genital area infection, since a rare but serious genital infection may be life-threatening. Do not take Farxiga if you have severe kidney problems or are on dialysis. Other serious side effects include dehydration, genital yeast and bacterial infections in women and men, urinary tract infections, low blood sugar, and sudden kidney problems. Stop taking Farxiga and call your doctor right away if you have symptoms of ketoacidosis, which is serious and may lead to death.
Answer the alert. Ask your doctor if Farxiga could do more for you. If you can't afford your medication, AstraZeneca may be able to help.
At Joel Confer Toyota, we're more than just a full-service dealership. For over 40 years, we've provided the utmost customer service while serving our local communities. Stop in today and let Mario Leps show you the Toyota Sienna. Visit our showroom at Joel Confer Toyota of State College.
You're watching Nittany Nation Overtime.
Welcome back to the show. All right, so whatever happens this week, Penn State will either be 3-6 or 4-5, and you're seeing teams, guys, around the country start to maybe opt out of bowl games before they even have been offered an invitation. What are your guys' thoughts, Neil, in terms of, should Penn State get an invitation to a bowl? Would this be beneficial to them, even though it's during a pandemic, or should they just, after this week against Illinois, just kind of tap out for 2020?
Well, I thought that these kids have given so much and suffered so much and sacrificed that after this past game that would have been enough. But they all appear to be enjoying it and wanting to be around it. When you listen to Mennett and Dodson, two great leaders of this offense, and Tony on defense, they all sort of want to stay together. They're playing well. I don't know what a bowl game, they're going to have to continue to isolate and be up there, I guess, for another few weeks. We'll see what happens. It could be a Phoenix type or maybe playing North Carolina. They look pretty good in the December 30th bowl. So I don't know about a bowl game. I would defer to what their wishes would be, but I do admire them for wanting to play, continuing to this ride.
You notice how Neil doesn't even want to say the Duke's Mayo Bowl? You don't even want to bring that up? I think it's this easy. I think you put it to a vote of the players and say, hey, do you guys want to do it? And if they do, now the one factor that I think you have to take into account is the difficult situation that James Franklin has been in with his family. And I think all of our hearts go out to him, knowing what his family is dealing with and his daughter's dealing with a sickle. So that's a difficult part of it. But for me, I would have to believe that the smartest thing to do is say, hey guys, you vote on it, and what you decide to do, that's what the program's going to do.
The last time they did that was the last time the players voted. They didn't want to go somewhere.
Or would it be like under Joe, where what did they say when they picked the captains under Joe Paterno? The players voted for the captains, but Joe counted the votes.
Yeah, he said 4 Italian kids.
Yeah.
Roger, what would that think would do for a program that has struggled in the beginning part of the year, but now, like we've said many times in the show, they're heating up and whatnot, and you have a lot of young players on this team. You look at the senior day yesterday, you got a couple big-time contributors like Shaka Toney and Antonio Shelton and some guys along the offensive line, but a lot of youth on this team. And for a team that didn't have a spring ball last year because of COVID, I'm not saying this is another spring, but the more reps you can get going into 2021, I got to think that's got to help the program.
Well, sure, it's going to help the program. I would love to see the Lions head off to someplace a little warmer over the holidays. That would be a great thing for the team. And as you said, Jack, youth must be served. And to get the reps as they have over the course of the season, to get a few more on an even bigger stage, I think it would be a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for the guys to go play a bowl game.
We just don't know how they're going to treat it. If they decide they're not going to play a bowl game, they will disperse to their families, presumably, and then really be able to regroup and be back for spring semester. So they may feel that the recovery is more important than an actual being in the bowl site and doing two-a-days.
Right. Well, it's also a situation where this isn't your typical bowl timing-wise. I mean, right. So they could well be playing a week and a half or so, 2 weeks after the final game. So that definitely plays into it as well. So it's not going to be as if you're going to have multiple weeks of practice. But I think even getting 1 extra week of practice may be good for these guys.
The guaranteed rate Lone Bowl was 1 week after Illinois.
There you go.
Yeah. So I do know to the minor bowls.
You know, with this team this year, I think one of the things I've been kind of following is the emergence of Parker Washington, but also the development of Jahan Dotson that's allowed Parker to have such an amazing freshman year. You know, Roger, when you look at those two guys, and specifically Jahan, who no one really gave him a lot of credit because he's trying to fill in for KJ Hamler. You got Pat Fryermuth, but he has really emerged as an elite receiver, not only on the team, but in the Big Ten. And I mean, granted, Penn State's not doing well, but if they were doing well, he'd be getting some national attention.
He would be getting national attention. He is a leader that is so close to fully blossoming, I think. He's got a great attitude. His skill set improves weekly. Good kid.
Yeah, I wonder if he's got a decision to make after the year. I mean, it may be premature to say it, but everybody looks at a Jason Owe and a Rasheed Walker as guys who may have those decisions to make. And I wonder, Jahan Dotson, when you see what he's doing, and he did it against Ohio State as well, and that game is going to stand out because when you're talking about Ohio State, you're talking about elite athletes. So I really wonder if he's going to have a decision to make after this year.
I like that they took the wraps off him in the punt return game. He'd been fair catching a lot of balls. Even early yesterday, they needed an injection. He gave them one. I think that was a good move of their special teams.
Yeah, you weren't complaining about the lack of fair catches, though, when the guy slipped on the kickoff. I'm forgetting who was it even. That I was immediately thinking of Neil saying, why are they fair catching all these? That's because some of these guys have trouble and can't quite get it done. But it was good to see the special teams have such an impact for Penn State because Lamont Wade had a couple of nice returns, too, so that kind of came into play.
All right, coming up next, our Nitwit of the Year, it's heating up right now. Someone even picked the correct score, the correct margin of, correct scoring margin from last week. So we'll give our predictions for Illinois and wrap up the show.
You're watching Nittany Nation Overtime on WTAJ, your Nittany Nation station. Tonight's show is brought to you by Joel Comfort Toyota.
'Tis the season to be cheersin'. Get cheersin' with all with new holiday drinks at Dunkin'. Send a virtual cheersin' with the Dunkin' app.
With 20 locations and thousands of new and pre-owned vehicles, there's a lot we can say about the Ciocca dealership's experience, but it seems that automotive news already beat us to it. This is what car buying was meant to be. Everything you want in service, selection, and total satisfaction. We invite your family to be part of our family. Experience the difference at CioccaDealerships.com. And coming soon, America's largest Subaru dealership in the heart of Philadelphia.
Where can a healthier heart lead you? For people with heart failure taking Entresto, it may lead to a world of possibilities. Entresto helps people stay alive and out of the hospital. Don't take Entresto if pregnant. It can cause harm or death to an unborn baby. Don't take Entresto with an ACE inhibitor or aliskiren, or if you've had angioedema with an ACE or ARB. The most serious side effects are angioedema, low blood pressure, kidney problems, or high blood potassium. Ask your doctor about Entresto.
In a land not so far away, people are saving hundreds on the most reliable network with Xfinity Mobile. They can choose from the latest phones or bring their own and choose the data option that's right for them. They even get nationwide 5G at no extra cost. And since they're on the carrier rated #1 in customer satisfaction, they live happily ever after.
Again! Xfinity Mobile. Your wireless, your rules, your way to stay closer together. Click, call, or visit an Xfinity store today.
We're cheersing the merrymakers, the givers and not takers, and the home decorators. To those that got us through spring, summer, and fall, we're cheersing for all at Dunkin'. Share some cheersing with friends via the Dunkin' app. America runs on Dunkin'.
You're watching Nittany Nation Overtime.
As we wind down the show, let's take a look at our up-to-date Nitwit of the Year standings. Mark Brennan.
Really? I didn't realize.
Nailing the score. Well, I don't know if it was the exact score, but you picked the right margin and whatnot, and it's kind of tough to beat you when you do that and whatnot. So you have 2. Our guest has 2. Neil and I stuck in the cellar behind the deflated ball. Neil,
we're not mathematically eliminated
we are not.
yet, Jack. If they get a bowl, they have to go to a bowl game to keep us in.
Exactly.
There you go. So you want a
bit
bowl.
of pressure.
Neil needs a bowl.
So yeah, Mark. So Illinois is the opponent this week. They just fired their coach. I don't know how much motivation they'll have. Penn State has all the motivation because they're playing so well right now. So how do you think this one shakes out?
Jack projecting his pick on us a little bit there. Yeah, you really have to wonder. You're looking at a team that has the worst passing offense in Illinois in the Big Ten, and we know that the teams that have hurt Penn State have passed it well, including Michigan State in the second quarter. So I think Penn State's going to win this one fairly handily. I will go Penn State 35, Illinois 14.
You know, that was the exact pick I was going to make.
Oh, yeah.
I think you should change it.
No.
Okay.
If you were Nitwit of the week, you could pick first.
I'm going to say I can't go with Illinois. They just fired their coach. I don't know what the mad rush was to do that in a pandemic. At least give them a dignity of another week.
Yeah.
I'd say Penn State 37, Illinois 14.
Roger?
42-10 Penn State. It's easy. A lot of pride left, a lot of football to play. I'm sorry, Illinois. It's over.
So we got 42-10. We got Neil going 37-14 and Mark going 35-14. I too think it's going to be a blowout because I think Penn State's kind of, like you said, hitting the stride at the right point. So I'm going to go 49-3. I think Illinois squeaks out a field goal in the final moments and whatnot. But I honestly think that this is going to be just such a hands-down blowout and whatnot. So. But if you had a chance to pick a bowl for Penn State, realistically, what would be the location? I want a quick 10-second answer from each of you.
Yeah, I would say that second-tier Fiesta Bowl out in Scottsdale, Phoenix, wherever it is. There's the Fiesta Bowl and then there's the Minor Bowl out there. If they could get to that, that's a great opportunity.
Well, that'd be great. It's 1 week after this game, but they're undefeated at the Fiesta Bowl, so why not go there?
Fiesta Bowl is not a bad place. I would imagine they'll stick a little closer to home, looking maybe the Carolinas or Tennessee.
All right, that's their predictions. You'll see us back here next week. Hopefully we're talking about a bowl game. If not, well, hey, we'll recap the season and whatnot. But for Mark, Roger, and Neil, I'm Jack. We'll see you next week, hopefully talking about Penn State's 4th straight win. We'll see you.